fuck going on with y'all? Y'all ain't even seen. They gotta cut my hair off. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of all that. But nah, today we coming back with a reaction. I ain't dropped the reaction in a minute. I ain't dropped the video in a minute, bro. They put a strike on my damn channel, and I didn't know you put a strike on your channel. You can't post for a week. Let me clear this DP out. But I didn't know they put a strike on your damn on your page. You can't post to do nothing for a week, so I ain't post for a week. About to get back in my mode though. About to get back right to it, getting grinding every day, posting. I'm gonna have a schedule though now. I'm gonna post like a couple gaming videos, a couple days a week, some reactions, IRL shit. But let's throw a good variety in there. But anyways, got a reaction today. The most painful deaths ever at a construction site. I know a couple, like off the top of my head, that will probably happen, but I'm gonna wait to see.
Real iron foundries.
I'm gonna wait to see.
Molten iron to produce things like engine blocks, frames, and structural components for cars and buildings. Watch your step. Across the United States are large industrial iron foundries that use molten iron to produce things like engine blocks, frames, and structural components for cars and buildings. At the Caterpillar Mapleton Foundry in Illinois, molten iron is melted at nearly 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit, a heat hotter than lava and hot enough to obliterate human flesh in an instant.
Damn.
For the workers at this factory, the foundry floor is a place where one wrong step means certain doom. So it's of utmost importance that each crew member moves with caution 100.
Truthfully, bro, like, I can't tell if this picture right here on the left, is like fake or not. But if this shit is real, like, you see how close he is to this shit, this molten iron and shit. My boy Uriah working some shit like this, but it ain't like this. But mind you, they better be getting paid good. I know my boy getting paid, but doing some shit like that where you that close, boy, you better be paying me motherfucking good. You telling a motherfucking story, nigga.
On June 2nd, a 39-year-old man would be working his 5th day at his new job. He was tasked with retrieving a sample of molten iron for testing. He spun down a giant metal wheel that caused the molten iron to pour out of the vat. Afterwards, he leaned over the boiling hot iron. He got close, like really close. And then liquid molten iron popped and exploded all over his face. I'm kidding. He successfully retrieved his sample of iron and returned back to his manager. Unluckily, however, he'd somehow slip on the stage and partially fall back into the molten vat of iron. He tried to escape, but it was impossible. Half of his body was in, half of it was out. And before you know it, in an instant, he was consumed by the roaring orange abyss. Witnesses described what happened as beyond comprehension. He passed away instantly, but not all of him was consumed. Part of his body remained on the steel deck for the coroner to retrieve. Emergency crews rushed in, but it was already way too late. There was no saving him. The foundry quickly shut down, investigations were launched, and then questions arose. How could a man with so little training be placed so close to one of the most dangerous areas of the factory?
They don't be giving a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
For his colleagues, it was not the first time they'd seen such horror. Just a year earlier, another worker had passed away at the same plant after a similar fall. And now, yet again, a worker's life had been cut short in the most violent way imaginable. In factories like these, safety isn't just a guideline, it's survival. When molten metal waits beneath your feet, there's no second chance. One misstep and you're gone in an instant.
Hell no.
The cable incident. It was just after noon at the Whitworth sawmill in East Texas. The air was thick with the grind of machines, the smell of fresh cut pine, and the heat.
I always imagine, bro, right here, like these trucks right here that be carrying the wood, like lumber and stuff like that, and you know they strap them over the top. But I always be thinking, whenever I done got behind one of these cars, bro, it's been in one of the Final Destination movies. Bro, one of them cables get loose, nigga, that wood start bouncing and right into your fucking car. Oh my God.
In East Texas. The air was thick with the grind of machines, the smell of fresh cut pine, and the heat of men working hard to keep the mill alive. But inside, 4 men were locked in a struggle with a jammed wood chip machine. To free it, they turned to the heavy steel cable that wound its way around the gears. They pulled, adjusted, and worked the line, hoping to break the machine loose. And then, in an instant, disaster struck. After working the cable for what felt like forever, they had stretched it out to the point that it extended itself like a bow and tightened back on one of the men. Upon pulling the cable and stretching it back out again to free the man, it finally snapped. The stored energy released with the speed of a bullet and the force of a guillotine. It whipped across the work area with deadly precision, striking all 5 men at once. The impact was catastrophic. 4 of the 5 were decapitated instantly. The 5th man got lucky. He was thrown away to the side and the bones in his leg got shattered, but thankfully his life was spared. For the men who witnessed it, the scene was indescribable.
What the fuck? My nigga said they got decapitated.
Striking all 5 men at once. The impact was catastrophic. 4 of the 5 were decapitated instantly.
Bro, imagine you at work. You see 4 people get decapitated at one time. Like that in 1 second.
The 5th man got lucky. He was thrown away to the side and the bones in his leg got shattered.
Decapitated? Oh my lord.
The scene was indescribable. One moment, their co-workers were fighting with some stupid jammed machine. The next second, the floor was silent and each of their bodies stood upright in their same positions with a crucial detail missing. The ground was littered with helmets, sawdust, and bodies. When EMTs arrived at the scene, they were obviously only able to save the man with the injured leg. The sleeve incident. In a cabinet factory in Russia, cameras were quietly...
Oh, it's a little meter at the top left. Okay, I ain't even...
On the floor stood a massive horizontal lathe. The machine was giant, and its steel cylinder was rotating with an unstoppable force. It was a machine built to carve through metal itself. A Russian man tasked with running the machinery froze upon seeing it. For a couple of moments, he would just squint deeply at the machine, closely inspecting it. His posture was casual, and then from casual, it grew curious. Although it's not entirely clear what it was, the man noticed something wrong with the machine, but after inspecting it, he went about his business. And then he came back because his curiosity got the best of him.
Hold on, I'm making this YouTube video real quick. I'm making a YouTube video real quick.
Something was obviously wrong with the machine, so he went in for another look. It was then that he realized that he had been inspecting the wrong thing all along. His gaze shifted from the machine to the ceiling above it, and he was astonished with what he saw. He was right. There was a bit of a leak dripping down from the ceiling onto the machine. A sigh of relief came from the man as he became relieved that he had figured out the issue. As he began leaving to retrieve items to fix the leak, he quickly realized another, more concerning issue. His sleeve was stuck. And just like that, in a heartbeat, everything changed. The man was yanked into the spinning machine. His body slammed between the cylinder and the base, whipping around with such force that he looked like a rag doll in the grip of a hurricane. The legs spun faster and faster. First his shoes would fly off, then pieces of his flesh, then chunks, then his limbs. And before you knew it, he was turned into a mist. The camera captured it all. There was no time for rescue or hope of survival. Moments later, another worker in full protective gear entered from the side. He froze at the sight he saw. Red trails, shredded remains, and a stained room.
Damn!
In complete frustration, then dropped them in despair. The unfiltered camera footage spread across the internet, shocking millions before being digitally...
That shit's scary, bro. That shit like that, you be like, bro, like... Motherfucker be dying any type of way.
Like these, and always keep a safe distance between them. The roller incident.
Oh shit, this nightmare fuel. Y'all, this is nightmare fuel. This is nightmare fuel. I think this is nightmare fuel. Look at the meter, it's nightmare fuel. This is definitely nightmare fuel.
Crushing and shaping materials with unstoppable force. For workers, the rhythm of the rollers was just another part of the day. Clock in, crush and churn, go to sleep, repeat. Except for this day. On August 8th, 2016, at around 12:15 p.m., a 56-year-old employee noticed a piece of plastic jammed in the roller machine. Determined to keep the line and the rhythm of his job moving, he climbed up a ladder and reached in to pull it free. As you could guess, while trying to perform this extremely dangerous task, the rollers would pinch his finger. He'd scream in pain and try to yank it out, but in a split second, his hand was caught and effectively crushed. Unfortunately, that wouldn't even be the worst part. The rollers dragged him in, pulling his body into the unforgiving gear-crushing machine. First his hand was sucked in, then his arm, then his head, and then his chest. His torso became wedged into the entry space of 12 centimeters before co-workers rushed to stop the machine. But by the time it halted, his body sat deeply jammed in between a space no bigger than a clenched fist.
Oh
Insanely
my
enough, however,
God.
he was actually pulled out of the machine alive. Despite his body being crushed and broken beyond repair, emergency responders rushed him to the hospital in critical condition, but there really wasn't much doctors could do. The man was literally flattened, so sadly, he succumbed to his injuries shortly after. Behind every phone, car, or laptop you use, there is a person. A person who spends anywhere from 8 to 16 hours a day working tirelessly in a factory full of dangerous equipment to grant you these luxuries you have. Life is delicate and quick. It can be here 1 second and gone the next.
What I just say?
So, no matter how small, always be grateful for the good you have.
What I just say?
Don't take any of it for granted.
What I just
Tell
say?
your parents, siblings, and friends you love them. And as usual, have a happy day.
Damn, at least they put some kitties on there. Imagine you, nigga, your arm getting rolled up. Nigga, you getting rolled up. Your head thinking, whoo, your head gets smushed. Rolled up. Man. Very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for today, man. If y'all watch this shit, let me know which one you probably thought was the worst. I ain't gonna lie. That one probably hurt the worst, but I'll say that fucking cable be heading for them at that quick. That was more than 4, but like that quick. It was that quick. But yeah, if you tune in, I appreciate you, my nigga, and I goddamn tap in with y'all when I tap back in with y'all, man.